Welcome to Unacademy, the largest online e-learning platform, and welcome to Network Analysis and Transmission Lines course. It's a crash course, and we are learning two-port networks, transmission and hybrid parameters. Chandrakiran, good evening. Augustus, good evening. Welcome to Unacademy. Before this, let me tell you about myself. I'm Vai Shravan Kumar, having 7+ years of teaching experience and mentored more than 5K students for GATE and engineering services and also cracked GATE. So let me also explain you about the Unacademy Learning App installation procedure. Just type Unacademy Learning App in your Google Play Store. Click on install. You can click on Gate and Engineering Services if you are opting for Gate and Engineering Services, and click on this plus and click on this Get Subscription. Then you have both Plus and Iconic subscriptions. You'll get a dedicated mentor for your preparation in Iconic subscription, and you can use my code YSK10 to get the maximum discount, and you can click on this Proceed to Pay. So once you proceed to pay, you have debit card, credit card, EMI, UPI, wallets, net banking, these many options to make the payment and get subscription to Unacademy, the largest online e-learning platform. So let me tell you about this Evolve and Ascent Gate 2022 and 2023. Evolve for Gate 2022 and Ascent for Gate 2023. We have top educators to guide you, mentor you for GATE who are aspirants of 2022 and 2023. Shivakumar, good evening. So let me just show you about that 2021 and 2022. So the batch is starting new batch, Evolve for Gate 2022 and Ascent for Gate 2023. So we have it's starting from 20th December yesterday, and we have top educators. So hurry up, get subscription to Unacademy, the largest online e-learning platform, and reach your goals. Make your dreams come true. So this is about Unacademy Combat. These were the prizes that the students have got in the previous combat, and you can also enroll and you can be one of them. So let me try to explain you about the Unacademy Combat. It is the India's fortnightly competition for GATE, largest one, and it best questions by the best Unacademy educators. So challenging GATE questions curated by the best Unacademy educators. These questions guaranteed to keep the test engaging, challenging as well as fun. So it's a super fast with real-time ranking, and see how you rank against others with live leaderboard after each and every question. So compete with the best, know where you stand among all other contestants. You'll get a detailed video solutions by the top educators, get in-depth video solutions for the questions right after the contest. So you'll have score, leaderboard, rating, awards. So this is your performance, right? Next. So with compete with the best and win amazing prizes, the first three rankers will get a 3 months Unacademy subscription, and 4th to 50th rank will have 50 rupees 500 rupees worth Amazon voucher. And then telling about this Unacademy Combat, it is India's largest fortnightly competition and challenging gate questions created by the best educators. Super fast and fun with real-time ranking. Compare with the best and detailed video solutions by the top educators. Please do enroll for free. The registration is open for December 29th 6 p.m. and you can also win exciting prizes, like the first three rankers will get the 3 months Unacademy subscription or then equivalent Amazon voucher, and 4th to 50th ranks will receive 500 rupees worth Amazon voucher. So the competition format is 60 minutes with 15 questions and 4 combats and 3 cohorts. So the relative ranking will be based on the speed and the accuracy. So enroll now for the Unacademy Combat. To participate in Unacademy Combat, use my code. You can download this in Unacademy Learning App in Google Play Store. You'll get YSK10. So the today's topics are transmission and hybrid parameters. So today's topics is high transmission and hybrid parameters. The transmission parameters. So transmission and hybrid parameters. We are learning this. So let us look at these one by one. In yesterday's session, we have seen what are Z or impedance parameters. These are also called as open circuit parameters. Krishnachari, good evening. The next is impedance parameters that we have seen yesterday, or Y or admittance parameters, or they are also called as short circuit parameters. They are also called as short circuit parameters. We have impedance parameters or Z parameters and open circuit parameters. They are called as Y parameters or admittance parameters or short circuit parameters. These two things we have seen yesterday in the last session. In the last session, we have learned about these parameters, and in today's session, we will be dealing with transmission parameters and hybrid parameters. We have transmission parameters and hybrid parameters. So let us see one by one. So first let us consider transmission parameters. Transmission parameters. These are A, B, C, D parameters, also called as circuit parameters. And the parametric equations corresponding to these will be, let us consider a black box. You have input ports as well as output port. So the currents and voltage at input port is V1 and I1. Current at voltage at output port is V2 and I2. We'll call this as 2, 2 dash. This as 1, 1 dash. So this is a two port network. This is a two port network. Now the parametric equations corresponding to this ABCD parameters are, in this you have independent variables and dependent variables. So here the independent variables are V2 and I2. Dependent variables are V1 and I1. So from this we'll write the equations as V1 is equal to AV2 minus BI2. I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. So these are the parametric equations where A, B, C, D are the parameters. A, comma, B, comma, C and D are the parameters corresponding to the transmission parameters. So let us see once again, V1 is equal to AV2 minus BI2 and I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. Now we can also write this as V1 V2 in matrix form is equal to, you can represent it as T, or you can also write this Values of A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D and V2 minus I2. V2 and minus I2. So these are the parametric equations and this is the matrix representation. This is the matrix form. From this you can write as V is equal to V1 I1. This is I1, right? So this you can write it as, how do you find this ABCD parameters? That is case 1 and we also take case 2. In case 1 we will consider that I2 is equal to 0 and in case 2 we will consider that V2 is equal to 0. Now what does this I2 is equal to 0 and V2 is equal to 0 indicate? If this is a two-port network with input terminals and output terminals, let's draw it a bit. Wait. So let's write this once again. So you have V1 is equal to AV2 minus BI2. I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. So case 1, first we will discuss case 1. Case 1 is when I2 is equal to 0. What is I2 is equal to 0 indicates? I2 is equal to 0 indicates I2 is equal to 0 indicates current is 0. Open circuit port 2. This is I2 is equal to 0 indicates. That means let's say you have a two-port network. Let's say you have a two-port network like this. Yeah, this is a two-port network. You have output terminals as well as the input terminals. Now in this, if you see, this is I1, V1. This is I2 and V2. Now what is I2 is equal to 0 indicates? I2 is 0 is this circuit is open circuit and you apply some voltage to this primary or the input terminals. This is a two-port network. So when I2 is 0, let's substitute in this. V1 is equal to AV2 minus B I2 is 0. So you'll get V1 is equal to AV2 or A is equal to V1 by V2. A is equal to, what is that value that you got? A is equal to V1 by V2. This V1 by V2 is called as voltage gain. What do we call this as? Voltage gain. And because it is V1 by V2, we call it as reverse voltage gain. Now similarly, we have taken this first equation A. Let us consider this equation. Now, if you take the second equation B and substitute I2 is equal to 0, you'll get I1 is equal to CV2 by, sorry, CV2 minus D into 0. This will implies I1 is equal to CV2. So what do you get here? If you just take this here, it is C is equal to I1 by V2. And what do we call this as? The C is equal to I1 by V2 is called as, what is I1 by V2? It is admittance. So it is admittance and it is transfer admittance I1 by V2. You can also call it as reverse transfer admittance. This is case 1 when I2 is equal to 0. Similarly, let us consider, let's write once again equations. V1 is equal to AV2 minus BI2. I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. So we'll consider case 2. What is case 2? When V2 is equal to 0. What is V2 is equal to 0 indicates? Short circuit port 2. Short circuit port 2. So second port must be short circuited. So let's draw that diagram once. So this is the second port and this is the first port, and you have a short circuit at this port. That will imply V2 is equal to 0. This is the short circuit. This is two port network. This is I1 and this is V1. So this is a short circuit port 2. Thank you. So V2 is equal to 0. So when V2 is 0, from the first equation, let us call this as equation A, this as equation B. So equation A will become V1 is equal to minus BI2. So B will be minus P1 by I2. Ramchandra, good evening. Shivakumar, good evening. Krishnachari, good evening. Welcome. So next from B equation B, you can write it as when V2 is 0, D is equal to minus I1 by I2. So what is this V1 by I2? It is impedance, transfer impedance. It is transfer impedance. And what is this? Reverse current gain. So these are the values that we get. So this is B and this is D. So these are the two values that you get when you make second port short circuit. When you make second port short circuit. And when you make second port open circuit, you'll get A and C. And B and D, you'll get it when you make second port short. So you have V1 is equal to AV, AV2, sorry, minus BI2. I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. So what is A from this? A is equal to V1 by V2. And what is B is equal to? Let's write this as C first. So C is equal to I1 by V2. And B is equal to minus V1 by I2. And D is equal to minus I1 by I2. This you'll get it when I2 is made 0. This also you'll get it when you make I2 is equal to 0. This you'll get it when you make V2 is equal to 0, and this you'll get it when you make V2 is equal to 0. So this is reverse voltage gain, and this is transfer admittance, and this value is transfer impedance or reverse transfer impedance, and this value is reverse current gain. So these are the values of A, C, B, D. This 2 you will obtain when you make I2 is equal to 0, and this 2 you will obtain when you make V2 is equal to 0. What is I2 is equal to 0? It is open circuit port 2. And what is V2 is equal to 0? Short circuit port 2. Right? Short circuit port 2. Short circuit port 2. Right? So this is reverse voltage gain, transfer admittance, transfer impedance. Now let us look at H parameters or hybrid parameters. Hybrid parameters or H parameters. Hybrid parameters or H parameters. So these hybrid or H parameters have independent variable and dependent variable. What are the dependent variables and independent variables in hybrid parameters are V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. Let's write the equations first. So I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So these are the hybrid parametric equations. V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2 and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So the dependent variables are I1 and V2 and independent variables are V1 and I2. So these are dependent and independent variables and these are the hybrid parametric equations. So these H parameters are useful in designing or modeling of transistors. So let us see V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2 and I2 is equal to H11 I1 plus H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So now let us see how do you obtain this H11, H12, H21 and H22. So first make, in order to get that, first make case 1 when V2 is equal to 0. What is V2 is equal to 0 indicates? V2 is equal to 0. What is V2 is equal to? Shivakumar, nice class. Thank you, Shivakumar. What is V2 is equal to 0 indicates? V2 is equal to 0 indicates it is short circuit, short circuit short circuit port 2. So when you make V2 is equal to 0 in this first equation, V2 is equal to 0 if you make in first equation, V1 is equal to, let's call this as A, this as B, V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2 value is 0. Similarly in this, I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2 value is 0. So find H11 from this. H11 is equal to V1 by I1. Similarly in this, so these are the values of H11 and H21. What is H11 called as? Is V1 by I1. It is, when you are getting this, when you make short circuit V2. So it is short circuit input impedance. It is short circuit input impedance. Next, what is H21 is equal to? It is I2 by I1. I2 by I1 is short circuit current gain, or you can also call it as forward current gain. Similarly, this is when you make V2 is equal to 0. When you make V2 is equal to 0. Similarly, in order to get H1 to H22, you can make I1 is equal to 0. So let's write V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2, and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. Now case 2. What is case 2? When I1 is equal to 0. What is case 2? When I1 is equal to 0. Substitute I1 is equal to 0 in the above two equations. If you substitute in first equation, so V1 is equal to H11 I1 is 0 plus H12 V2. Similarly, in this, I2 is equal to H21 I1 is 0 plus H22 V2. First write what is I1 is equal to 0. It is open circuit, port 1, open circuit port 1. So from this, what you will get, V1 is equal to H12 V2 and I2 is equal to H22 V2. So what is H12 is equal to? It is V1 by V2. What is H22 is equal to? I2 by V2. So what do you get from this? This is H12. This is H22. So let's write these values. What are these values? H12. What is H12? It is when you are making open circuit, you are getting these values. So it is an open circuit voltage gain, or you can also name it as reverse voltage gain. Similarly, what is H22? It is I by V, admittance, right? It is output admittance. It is when you get this output admittance when you open circuit. So this is open circuit output admittance, or you can also name it as, just can name it as output admittance. So these are the four values that we got. Just look at this. So let's also try to write this in the matrix form like this. You can write it as V1 I2 is equal to H11 H12 H21 H22 into I1 V2. So when you make V2 is equal to 0, you will get H11 H21, and they are called as short circuit impedance and forward current gain or short circuit current gain. Then when you make I1 is equal to 0, that is open circuit port 1, you get H12, that is open circuit current voltage gain or reverse voltage gain, and you get H22 open circuit output admittance. Open circuit output admittance. So let's write all these at once. So you have V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So these are the two values that you get. Alright. So these are the two equations that you have. Then we are writing all the values from this. The values are H11 is equal to V1 by I1. H21 is equal to I2 by I1. H12 is equal to V1 by V2. H22 is equal to I2 by V2. So when do you get these values? You have to know them. You get these values when this value is obtained when V2 is 0. This value is also obtained when V2 is 0. This value is obtained when I1 is 0, and this value is obtained when I1 is 0. And what is this value called as? It is called as V1 by I1. V2 is 0, that is short circuit input impedance. And what is this called as? It is short circuit or forward current gain, because I2 by I1, right? So what is V1 by V2? It is voltage gain. First point is it is a voltage gain. And what is I1? It is open circuit voltage gain, or you can also name it as V1 by V2, reverse voltage gain. Similarly, what is this value? I2 by V2, it is open circuit, or just simply you can write output admittance. And as we have discussed, we get these when you make short circuit, that is when you make V2 is equal to 0, that is short circuit port 2. And when do you get these two? When you make I1 is equal to 0, that is open circuit port 1. Raju, good evening, welcome to Unacademy. Ramchandra, thank you, very interesting, thank you Ramchandra Kumar. So let us write ABCD parameters or transmission parameters and hybrid parameters. What are ABCD parameters? V1 is equal to AV2 minus BI2. I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. Similarly, hybrid V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2, and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. This what are the two cases that you get, and in this what are the two cases that you get in order to solve the problem? In this you make first I2 is equal to 0, or you can make V2 is equal to 0 first, but you will make I2 0 and V2 0, that is we will open circuit port 2, and in this we will short circuit port 2. Here coming to this, you make V2 is equal to 0, that is short circuit port 2, and I1 is equal to 0, open circuit port 1. So these are the Sai, welcome. Sai Lucky, welcome. Nice class, sir. Thank you, Sai. So these are ABCD and hybrid parameters. These are ABCD and hybrid parameters. Now let us take one problem and try to solve both ABCD and hybrid parameters for the given problem. So the question is, find ABCD and hybrid parameters find ABCD and hybrid parameters for the given network. Let's say we'll consider a small network first. This is that network, a T network. Let me take this is I1, I2, V2, V1. Let's say this is 2 ohms, this is 3 ohms, and this is 4 ohms. Now we are asked to find A, B, C, D as well as hybrid parameters. First, let us see. Let us find A, B, C, D parameters. Let us find A, B, C, D parameters. So first write what are A, B, C, D parametric equations. V1 is equal to AV2 minus VI2. I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. So when do you get this A and C? When I2 is equal to 0, you get A is equal to V1 by V2 and C is equal to I1 by V2. And when V2 is equal to 0, you get V is equal to minus V1 by I2 and D is equal to minus I1 by I2. So let's try to do that now. So first let us try to consider case 1. What is the case 1? You see I2 is equal to 0. What is I2 is equal to 0? What is I2 is equal to 0? Open circuit port 2. So that means you have this circuit and this is connected to some supply V1, 2 ohms, 3 ohms, 4 ohms, and this is V2, sorry, I2 is equal to 0. This is I2 is equal to 0. That means this is open. But still you will have a voltage across this V2 because this current I2 is 0. Voltage drop across 3 ohms will be 0. So this V2 will be the voltage across this 4 ohm resistor. Right? So in this, if this is I1, what can you write from this? You can write V1 is equal to 2 into I1 plus 4 into I1. Actually, it should be I1 plus I2 because I2 is 0. We are writing this. So you got V1 is equal to 6I1. Let us try to write all the equations first, then we'll try to do that. Find what are required. So you have four parameters. So V1, I1, I2, V2. Out of this, one is 0. In any case, this one will be 0. Any one will be 0. So you need to derive the relation between these three. So we have already obtained the relation between these two. Now what is left is V2. So let's try to write V2 in terms of V1 or I1. So what is V2? V2 is the voltage across this forum. Actually, V2 is the voltage, that is V3 plus V4 ohms. Voltage across 3 ohms and 4 ohms. But because this is 0, so V2 is equal to voltage across 4 ohms. That is 4 ohms into what is the current? This is the I1 current that is flowing through this. So 4 into I1. Therefore, V2 is equal to 4I1. So I've got two equations. Now let's see what we have to find when I2 is 0. We want V1 by V2. So can I get V1 by V2 from this? Yes. If you divide, let's say this is first equation and this is second equation. You want V1 by V2. So 1 by 2 is equal to V1 by V2 is equal to 6I1 by 4I1 is equal to 2 3s are 2 2s are. So this is 3 by 2. So what is V1 by V2? V1 by V2 is A. Therefore, you can write A is equal to V1 by V2 is equal to 3 by 2. Now, when you make this I2 is equal to 0, you can also find the other value. What is that value? C, I1 by V2. What is I1 by V2? From second equation, you can get directly that. What is I1 by V2? I1 by V2 is C. So C is equal to I1 by V2 is equal to 1 by 4 and units are mho because this is an admittance. So you got two values. One is A. A is equal to 3 by 2 because it is voltage gain, you don't have any units. And C is equal to I1 by V2, it is 1 by 4 mho. So these are the two values that you get when you make I2 is equal to 0. So this is I2 is equal to 0. Now let's make V2 is equal to 0 in the other case. Let's make case 2 when V2 is equal to 0. What is V2 is equal to 0? Short circuit port 2. So let's draw that diagram. So we need to short circuit the second port. So this is the short circuit. Now what is this? You'll give some supply to this. This is V1 and there is some current I1, 2 ohms, 3 ohms, 4 ohms, but this is I2 and here V2 is 0. Now let us consider some current I2 dash which is flowing through this short circuit. What are the four values that we have here? V1, I1, V2, I2. But of these, V2 is 0. That means we are taking V2 is equal to 0. So what are the rest of the values you have? V1, I1, I2. So let's write V1 is equal to what is I1 into R total. So V1 is equal to I1 into R total. What is R total? These two are in parallel. So 4 into 3 by 4 plus 3, 12 by 7. This will be in series with 2. So we'll get 12 by 7 plus 2, 12 plus 14 by 7. 26 by 7 is our total value. This is our total value. So you will get V1 is equal to I1 into 26 by 7. So this is one equation. So we have derived a relation between V1 and I1. Next, what do you have? I2 dash. So can I write I2 dash? I2 you have, but you have I2 dash here because these two are parallel, 3 ohms and 4 ohms, and there is I2 dash that is flowing. I2 dash is equal to total current I1 into opposite branch 4 by total resistance 4 plus 3. But you can see here I2 dash is equal to I2 dash and I2 both are in opposite direction. So I can write minus I2 is equal to I1 into 4 by 7. Now, when you have V2, we have derived the relation between V1, I1, I2. Now, let's see what you have to find so that you can just make these two, use these two equations. This is one equation, this is the other equation. You can use these two equations and get any value that is required when V2 is 0. Now, when V2 is 0, see, you need B minus V1 by I2. Other one is D. So, you need B minus V1 by I2. So can I divide these two equations? Let's call this as third equation, this as fourth equation. Divide third by fourth. I1 will get cancelled. 26 by 7 by 4 by 7. So I'll get 26 by 4 or 13 by 2. And this is voltage by current, so units are ohms. Similarly, what is the other value that we need? D minus I1 by I2. So you can easily get that. From this equation, if you write minus I1 by I2 can be written as, if you take I2 to this side, it will be 7 by 4 and it does not have any units. So this is the value of, what is that value? D. See D. This is the value of B. So we have got all the four values. Now let's write all these values. A is equal to, B is equal to, C is equal to, and D is equal to. What are those values? Let's write. A is 3 by 2. A is 3 by 2. What is C? 1 by 4. C is 1 by 4 and this is 3 by 2. And what is B? 13 by 2. 13 by 2. This is ohms and this is already more. Next, what is D? D is 7 by 4. So these are the values of A, B, C, D. You can also write them as A 3 by 2, 13 by 2, 1 by 4, 7 by 4 into V2 and minus I2. So these are the required A, B, C, D parameters, and this is the matrix form. Alright. So next, for the same question, there is another thing that is asked. You are also asked to find the hybrid parameters. So let's also try to do that. So let's take that same question and let's write that hybrid parameters and write the same question. So this is the circuit. So you are given this as V1, this as I1, 2 ohms, 3 ohms, this is ohms, 4 ohms, and this is I2 and this is V2. So from this, what you can write H parametric equations, you want to write it. So you want to find H parameters. So first write what are H parametric equations. V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2, and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So how do you get these values of H11, H12? When you make when V2 is equal to 0, just make V2 is equal to 0. What is V2 is equal to 0? Short circuit port 2. What are the values that you get? V2 is equal to 0. You get H11, that is V1 by, this is case 1. So other value H21. What is H21? I2 by. Similarly, when you make the second, when you want to find the rest of the things, that is H12 and H22, you'll make I1 is equal to 0. What is I1 is equal to 0? Open circuit port 1. When you make I1 is equal to 0, what are the values that you get? H12 is equal to, and what is H22 is equal to? I2 by V. So these are the values that you get. This is ohms, this is mho, and these two do not have any units. Now let's apply the same thing to this circuit. So this is the circuit. What is the case 1? Let us write case 1. What is case 1? Just look at the previous. It is V2 is equal to 0. Short circuit port 2. So when you make short circuit across this, and this is I2 and this is I2 dash, we have assumed this already and we gave some supply to this first port V1. So what are the equations that you get? You can write V1 is equal to I1 into total resistance, 3 in parallel with 4 plus 2. So we have already obtained that value. What is that? 26 by 7. So it is V1 is equal to I1 into 26 by 7. This is first equation. And we have also written minus I2 dash, sorry, I2 dash is equal to minus I2, that is equal to total current I1 into opposite branch resistance 4 by total resistance 4 plus 3 7. So you got two equations in this. This is V1 in terms of I1 and this is I2 in terms of I1. Now when you make V2 is equal to 0 in H parameters, you want V1 by I1 ratio first. So what is V1 by I1 ratio? From this equation you can get. Let's call this as 1, this as 2. So let's find H11. That is what is H11, right? H11 is V1 by I1. So from 1, H11 is equal to V1 by I1 is equal to 26 by 7 ohms. Similarly, what is the other value that you want? I2 by I1. So from the second equation you can get what is I2 by I1. This is I2 by I1. That is H21. That is equal to minus 4 by 7. So this is H parametric equation H12 and H21, H11 and H21 when V2 is short. Now let us take open circuit. I1 is equal to 0 in the next case. Case 2 when I1 is equal to 0. What is I1 is equal to 0? First port is open. So we give first port is open. We give supply at the second port. So you have V2 here. You also have I2 here and this is I1. So I1 is 0. This is voltage V2. This is 2 ohm resistor, 3 ohm resistor and 4 ohm resistor. Now if you observe this, if V2 actually, first let us write V2 here. This is V1. Yeah, V2 is equal to 3I2 plus 4 into I2. But it actually should be I1 plus I2 because I1 is already 0. It is 3I2 plus 4I2. So V2 is equal to 7I2. Let's say this is the equation number 3. Let us keep it aside. Next, what is the other equation? You want to write V1. But actually V1 is voltage across 2 ohms plus voltage across 4 ohms, right? But because the current in this is 0, voltage here also will be 0. So this value is 0. So what do you get? V1 is equal to voltage across 4 ohm resistor. What is the voltage across 4 ohm resistor? The current flowing through this is I2. So V1 is equal to 4I2. This is the second equation. So this is the fourth equation. Now when you make this 0, when you make I1 is equal to 0, that is open circuit port 1. When you make port 1 as open, what are the values that you need? You need V1 by V2. Let's see, can we get V1 by V2? Yes, you can get. What is that? Fourth equation divided by third equation is V1 by V2. What is V1 by V2? H12. H12 is equal to V1 by V2 is equal to 4I2 by 7I2. It is 4 by 7. So H12 is equal to 4 by 7. Next, then you also need to find the other value from this. What is the other value when you make I1 is equal to 0? It is H22, I2 by V2. So this is from third equation you can get it. From 3, H22 is equal to I2 by V2 is equal to 1 by 7 mho. So these are the values that you get for H parametric equations. So H11 26 by 7. Let's write these as matrix form. So you can write V1 A2 is equal to H11 H12 H21 H22 into V2 I1. I1 V2. So just write these values. V1 I2 is equal to, what are the values of H11 H12 H21 H22? So H11 26 by 7 and minus 4 by 7. 26 by 7 and minus 4 by 7. H12 it's 4 by 7 and 1 by 7. So this is how you'll get the values of H11 H12 H21 and H22. And this is how you will determine the values of hybrid parameters. Okay, so we have determined both hybrid parameters and ABCD parameters for the given network. How did we do that? We have considered first parametric equations. V1 is equal to AV2 minus BI2 and I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. Then we have made I2 is equal to 0 and found what are the values of A and C. Then by making V2 is equal to 0, we have found what are the values of B and D. Similarly, For H parametric equations, we have written H parametric equations V11 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2, and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. This first we made V2 is equal to 0 and found what are the values of H11, H21, and then I1 is equal to 0. We made I1 is equal to 0 and we found what is H12 and H22. So these are the values that we have found for the given question. Now let's try to solve one more question from this. I'll give you the question and let's see how many will be in a position to solve that. So this this is the question. Obtain A, B, C, D parameters for the network shown. For the network shown, and the network is something like this. You have a resistor, one more resistor, you have another resistor. So this is the circuit. So this is V2, this is plus minus V1, and the values given are, let's see, 1 1 2 2, 1 ohm, this is 1 ohm, this is 2 ohms, and this is 2 ohms. So we are asked to find what are the parameters that we are asked to find. We are asked to find the ABCD parameters. We are asked to find the ABCD parameters. So first let's write what are ABCD parameters. So V1 is equal to AB2 minus BI2. I1 is equal to CV2 minus DI2. So how do we get A and C when you make, when I2 is equal to 0? What is I2 is equal to 0? Open circuit port 2. When you make open circuit port 2, what is the value of A? It is V1 by V2. What is the value of C? It is I1 by V2. Similarly, when V2 is equal to 0, what is V2 is equal to 0? Short circuit port 2. When you short circuit the second port, what is V2 is equal to 0 will give you V is equal to minus V1 by I2 and D is equal to minus I1 by I2. So these are the two different values that you get when I2 is equal to 0 and when V2 is equal to 0. That means you need to open circuit second port once and then you need to short circuit the second port once. So let's try to redraw this circuit. So first we'll consider one case. Let's consider case 1. I2 is equal to 0. When I2 is equal to 0. What is when I2 is equal to 0? This is 0. But you have a voltage V2 which is, this is 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 2 ohms and 2 ohms. So this V2 is the voltage across this 2 ohm resistor. And here I have V1 and I1. Let's try to write the relation between V1 and I1 first. V1 is equal to I1 into R total. What is R total? I1 into, so these two are in series 3 and in parallel with 2. So 3 into 2 by 3 plus 2, 6 by 5 plus 1. So let's try to solve that also. So these two are in series. 2 plus 1 is 3 and 3 will be in parallel with 2. So it is 3 into 2 by 3 plus 2. This is into. So 6 by 5. And the 6 by 5 is in series with 1. That is 11 by 5. So this is 11 by 5. So we got V1 is equal to 11 by 5 I1. This is one value that we got. So can we make out any value from this? We want V1 by V2. Can we write V1? No, we can't write. I1 by V2. Can we write I1 by? No, we can't write that also. So this is not possible. So let's also write one more equation for this. So you need V2. So if you observe this I1, I1 is coming to this point and it is splitting as I1 dash and I1 double dash. It is splitting as I1 dash and I1 double dash. Now, can I write it as I1 dash is the current flowing through 2 ohm resistor? Yes. So, can I write it as V2 is equal to 2 into I1 dash? Yes. Now, what is I1 dash? I1 dash is the current flowing in this parallel branch. So, it is total current I1 into opposite branch resistance 2 by the total resistance 2 plus 2 plus 1, 5. So, instead of writing I2, I1 dash, I'll write I1 into 2 by 5, or it is 4 by 5 I1. So, you got another equation. You got one more equation. V2 is equal to 4 by 5 I1. This is the second equation. So from these two equations, what are the two values that you need to find? V1 by V2. Can I find V1 by V2? Let us call this as 1 and this as 2. So let's try to take this. V1 is 11 by 5. 11 by 5 I1. And V2 is equal to, let's see what is V2? 4 by 5 I1. This 4 by 5 I1. And do we need to find V1 by V2? Yes, A is V1 by V2. So A is equal to V1 by V1 is 11 by 5, V2 is 4 by 5, will give you 11 by 4. This is one value. What is the other value when you make I2 is equal to 0? I1 by V2. From this equation, you can directly write V2 is equal to 4 by 5 I1. So I1 by V2 is equal to 5 by 4, and the units here are mho. And what is this value? This is C. So this is A. So finally, what can you write? A is equal to 11 by 4, C is equal to 5 by 4 mho. We got A and C value when I2 is 0. We made I2 is equal to 0. What is I2 is equal to 0? It is I2 is equal to 0. This is open circuit, and you'll give this supply V1 to this. So it is V1 is equal to I1 into R total. R total is 2 and 1 are in series, so it is 3, and this 3 will be in parallel with 2. You get 6 by 5, and 6 will be in series with 1. 6 by 5 plus 1 will give you 11 by 5, so that is R total, 11 by 5. Similarly, when how did I find this V2? I found this V2 using a current. See here I have assumed a current as I1 dash because this is open, I2 will not flow. So this current I1 will come and split as I1 dash and I1 double dash. I'm not bothered about this I1 double dash, but I just need what is I1 dash. So V2 is equal to 2 into I1 dash. What is I1 dash? I1 dash is the current flowing through this parallel branch because these two are in parallel because I2 is 0 and this is open. So what is I1 dash is equal to total current I1 into opposite branch resistance of this branch is 2 by total resistance is 2 plus 2 plus 1. So that's how you get 2 by 5. This is 2 plus 2 plus 1 value, right? So that's how you'll get I1 dash in terms of I1. Substitute that in V2 because V2 is potential difference or voltage across 2 ohm resistor. So I1 dash, if you substitute it here, you'll get this equation, that is 4 by 5 I1. So by using these 1 and 2 equations, you can find, using 1 and 2 you can find A. Using the only second equation you can find C value. So this is the first case when I2 is 0. What is the second case when V2 is 0? That is second port is short circuit. So this second port is short circuit. So let's short circuit that. So what is this? V2 is equal to 0, short circuit. But there will be a current I2, and let us consider one more current I2 dash. You need not do that, but still just for reference I have taken that. Now this is V1, this current is I1. This is 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 2 ohm and 2 ohm. Now if you observe, there is a short circuit between these two terminals. That indicates there is a short circuit between these two. So you can neglect this. You can simply neglect this, or I'll just erase this. I'll just draw it once again. So I'll just draw this once again. You have a resistor here. You have one more resistor here, and there is another resistor, and there is a short circuit here. So this is the short circuit and I have neglected this resistance. So this is the current I2 and this current I'll call it as I2 dash. Here V2 is equal to 0 and the supply is given to this. Supply is V1 and this is I1. This is 1 ohm resistor, 1 ohm resistor, 2 ohm resistor. Now let's try to relate something from this. You can write V1 is equal to I1 into what is the total resistance? These two are in parallel. 2 and 1 is in parallel. So 2 parallel with 1 will give you 2 by 3 and that will be in series with 1. So it is 5 by 3. So this value is resistance value is 5 by 3. What is the other value? I2 in terms of V1 or something you want it. So can I write it as I2 dash is the parallel branch current. This I2 dash is the parallel branch current is equal to total current I1. This current is I1, right? So total current into opposite branch resistance 2 by total resistance 2 plus 1. But what is I2 dash? It is already opposite to I2. So can I write it as minus I2 is equal to I1 into 2 by 3. So this is one equation and this is the another equation. So if you observe, what are the two values that you want when you short circuit? What is this case? When V2 is equal to 0, that is short circuit port 2. So you got two equations. From that, what do you need actually? I1 by I2. Let's see what is I1 by I2 minus I1 by I2 minus I1 by I2. So can I write minus I1 by I2 from this equation is equal to 3 by 2. What is this value? D. This is D value. So what is the other value that we want? V1 minus V1 by I2. So V1 and I2, you have these, this is third equation. Let's call this as fourth equation. So divide third equation by fourth equation. So what is that? You'll get V1 by minus I2 is equal to, let's write it in the next slide. Third equation by fourth equation, that is V1 by minus I2 is equal to V1 by minus I2. So I1 into 5 by 3, I1 into 5 by 3 by I2, I1 into 2 by 3. You can cancel them and you'll get 5 by 2. So what is this value? B. What is B is equal to? Minus I2 by V1 is equal to 5 by 2. And what are the units of this? Mho, because it is current by voltage. You want minus V1 by I2, right? Minus V1 by I2. You want it minus V1 by I2. This is minus. So B is equal to minus V1 by I2. That is 5 by 2. Voltage by current. Ohms. It's not current by voltage. It is voltage by current. So what are all the values that we got? V1 I1 is equal to A, B, C, D into V1 minus I2. Sorry, V2 minus I2. So we get V1 I1 is equal to what is A, B, C, D values. Let's see what are the A, B, C, D values. A 11 by 4, 5 by 4. C is 5 by 4. What is B? 5 by 2. D, what is the value of D? 3 by 2 into V2 minus I2. So these are ABCD required ABCD parameters. So this is how we will solve ABCD parameters of this given question. So this is a question that is given and obtain ABCD parameters of for the given network. So what have we done? We have considered V1 and I1 equations. Then we have written what is I2 is equal to 0 and V2 is equal to 0. So when I2 is equal to 0, we have obtained equations 1 and 2. From this we tried to find A value and C value. Then we have taken the second case when V2 is equal to 0, that is short circuit port 2. And when we have done that, this becomes a redundant or you need not consider this. From that you got V1 is equal to I1 into total resistance, that is 2 and 1 are in parallel, that is 2 in 2 by 2, 2 plus 1, 2 into 1 by 2 plus 1 is 2 by 3, plus 1 in series, 2 by 3 plus 1 will give you 5 by 3. You'll get R total value 5 by 3. And next you need to find what is I2. So for that I have taken I2 dash, which is flowing in this direction. So I2 dash is equal to total current I1 into opposite branch resistance by total resistance. So I2 dash is equal to minus I2. So it is minus I2 is equal to I1 into 2 by 3. That's how we'll get D value from this directly. And using these two equations, V1 by I2 minus I2, you'll get it as 5 by 2, which is current by voltage by current is ohms impedance. So these are the values of A, B, C and D. So that's how you get A, B, C, D values for the given question. So in this session, what we have done is we have learned transmission parameters and hybrid parameters. These are also A, B, C, D parameters, and solved few basic problems on them. So as I tell you, we have India's #1 study channels: Creatrix, Unacademy Gate, Unacademy Gate CE, Unacademy Gate Telugu, Unacademy SSC JE, Unacademy Computer Science, Unacademy Gate Questions, Electrical Junction, Unacademy Foundation, Unacademy Pathshala, Engineering Pathshala, and Unacademy Semester Exams. So please do like this video, share this video, use my code as YSK10 to get 10% off on your next Unacademy subscription. Subscribe to Unacademy and click on this bell icon to get notification of my classes. So once again, to tell you, new batch is starting, and Evolve for Gate 2022 and Ascent for Gate 2023. So subscription is already started. So we have top educators of Unacademy. So hurry up, get subscription to Unacademy now. So once again, thank you all. Thank you for joining me this session on transmission parameters and hybrid parameters. Thank you so much.